how special some of them are. Everything she tells me about playing here is like incredible.
It is.
Great fan support. The community loves you guys. What's like your time in Indy been like?
It's grown so much.
Yeah.
Like my rookie year, we probably had a couple thousand people coming to games. We won 5 games that whole year. Like
I think that's doing it justice too.
Wait a minute. See, that's the Caitlin Clark effect. She said they had a couple thousand. Kelsey Mitchell was on the team during that. A couple thousand. Melissa Smith was on the team during. A lot of these people was around. Caitlin Clark pops up and all of a sudden you go from playing in front of 2,000 people in an empty gym to now every game is sold out at 18,000 plus every single night.
This right here is what people mean when they say generational impact. And it's not just hype, it's measurable. You're talking about a team that was playing in front of a couple thousand fans, struggling to get attention, and almost overnight, everything changed. Sold out arenas, national attention, packed road games. That doesn't happen by accident. That happens when a player shifts the entire energy of a league. And what makes this even more powerful is that it's not just about stats or highlights. It's about visibility. It's about people showing up, kids watching, jerseys being worn, and a team suddenly maturing in a way it didn't before. That's influence. That's presence. But here's the real conversation. This kind of impact doesn't just elevate one player. It lifts teammates, the franchise, and even the league itself. You start seeing more eyes, more respect, more opportunities across the board. So when people debate value, this is what they need to look at. Not just numbers, but transformation. Because going from 2,000 fans to sold-out crowds every night, that's not normal. That's a shift, and we're watching it happen in real time.
Lexie Hull wants to stay. Lexie Hull wants to stay, guys. She does not want to go anywhere. She is looking to return to Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever.
This right here is where things start to get really interesting for the Indiana Fever, because this isn't just about one player saying she wants to stay. This is about culture, momentum, and what this team is building right now. When you hear that Lexie Hull doesn't want to go anywhere, that tells you everything about what's happening behind the scenes. Players don't just say that for no reason. They say that when they feel like they're part of something real, something that's growing, something that has direction. And right now, the Fever aren't just another team trying to figure it out. They're becoming a destination. But here's the part people need to pay attention to. Wanting to stay and being able to stay are two different things. Free agency gets complicated fast. Other teams are watching. They see her value, her energy, the way she fits next to star players, and they're going to come with offers. Big ones. So now the pressure shifts to the Fever front office. Do you match those offers? Do you prioritize keeping this core together? Because chemistry like this is not easy to rebuild once it's gone. And let's be real, players like Lexie are the glue. The ones who do the little things, bring the energy, and elevate everyone else around them. You don't just replace that. So yeah, she wants to stay. The question is, will the Fever make sure she can?
Now, let's be real here. Will anybody be checking for Lexie Hull had she not been Caitlin Clark's teammate? Now, we love Lexie Hull. We want her here to stay. But that goes to show the value that Caitlin brings, not only to the Indiana Fever, to this league. Lexie Hull is now a household name.
All right, this is the part where things get a little uncomfortable, because that question right there is going to divide people. Would Lexie Hull be getting this level of attention if she wasn't playing alongside Caitlin Clark? And honestly, it's a fair question, but it's also not that simple. Because yes, playing next to a generational talent brings more eyes, more media coverage, and more opportunities. That's just reality in sports. Star power elevates everyone around it. We've seen it in every league. When attention increases, so does recognition for teammates. But at the same time, you don't stay in that spotlight if you're not delivering. You don't earn minutes, trust, and respect just because you're next to someone great. Lexie has carved out her role. She's doing the work. Defense, energy, effort plays. The things that don't always show up in highlights, but absolutely impact winning. So the real answer is somewhere in the middle. Did Caitlin Clark bring more visibility? Absolutely. No debate there. But did Lexie take advantage of that opportunity and prove she belongs? Also yes. And that's what people need to understand. Exposure might open the door, but performance is what keeps you in the room. So instead of asking if she'd be noticed without Caitlyn, maybe the better question is, now that people are watching, has she proven she deserves it? Because from what we're seeing, she has.
Lexie Hull's been eating caviar for the last 2 years sitting next to Caitlin Clark. She not trying to go back to Burger King.
All right, I'm not even gonna lie, this might be one of the funniest ways to explain success I've heard in a minute, but it's also low-key one of the most accurate. She's been eating caviar. She not trying to go back to Burger King. That right there, that's not just a joke, that's a whole mindset shift. Because what he's really saying is this: once you experience winning, once you experience attention, sold-out arenas, real chemistry, real momentum, you don't want to go back to struggling, being overlooked, or playing in empty gyms. And that's human. That's not selfish, that's growth. Think about it. When you're part of something that's finally working, where the energy is right, the fans are showing up, and you feel like what you're doing actually matters, why would you leave that? Why would you reset and risk going backwards? And this isn't even just about one player. It's about what winning does to an entire team culture. Winning changes how you prepare. It changes how people talk about you. It changes how other players view your organization. Suddenly, you're not just another stop. You're a place people want to be. That's what we're seeing here. Because let's be real, there was a time when this team wasn't in this position. The attention wasn't there. The excitement wasn't there. And now, everything feels different. The expectations are higher. The spotlight is brighter. And players are feeding off that. So when you hear something like, she doesn't want to go back, it's not about disrespecting where she came from. It's about recognizing the level she's at now. And here's the part people don't always talk about. Success changes your standards. Once you've played in front of packed crowds, once you've been part of meaningful games, once you've felt that energy, you start expecting that everywhere you go. You start holding yourself and your team to a higher level. You don't want average anymore. And that's powerful, because teams that build that kind of mindset, they don't just win once, they build something sustainable. They create an environment where players want to stay, want to compete, and want to grow. So yeah, the caviar versus Burger King line is funny, but it actually says a lot more than people think. It's about elevation. It's about knowing your value. And it's about not settling once you've seen what's possible. Now the real question is, can the team keep that environment going? Can they keep the core together, keep building, and keep giving players a reason to stay at that level? Because once you get a taste of winning like that, there's no going back. And here's another angle people don't talk about enough: confidence. Winning doesn't just change your situation, it changes how you see yourself. When you're part of a team that's finally getting recognition, where your role actually matters and fans are showing up every night, your confidence goes to another level. You start playing faster, thinking clearer, trusting your instincts more. That's not by accident, that's environment. Because confidence is built on proof. And when you're surrounded by winning energy, that proof is everywhere. Now flip that for a second. Put that same player back into a struggling situation. Empty seats, constant losses, no momentum, and suddenly everything feels heavier. Every mistake feels bigger. Every game feels like a grind. That's the difference. So when people joke about caviar versus Burger King, what they're really talking about is the gap between surviving and thriving. And once a player knows what thriving feels like, they're going to chase that feeling every single time.